What's up, guys? It's CJ, and we are back to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. And today we're going to talk about season 5, episode 11, titled Taxing Times and Blurry Lines. But before we get started, make sure that you guys like this video and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Definitely feel free to comment on your thoughts or anything that I may miss throughout the video. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this episode starts with Karen, and Karen is talking to Ashley because, as she mentioned last episode, she wanted to invite a few of the girls to her hometown where she's being honored at her high school's homecoming. So she calls and she asks Ashley if she can come. And she also said that she's inviting Giselle. Ashley wanted to know if this event was baby friendly because we know that as this season has gone on, Ashley has had a track record of having to bring baby Dean because Michael does not seem to babysit the baby. So she just wanted to know if she could bring him. Karen didn't see why she couldn't, but I guess she just wanted to make sure in the event that she had to. Now, Ashley, before we get to Giselle, she brought up that 5 years ago that this would have never happened because she and Karen didn't necessarily have the best relationship in the beginning when Ashley came along, because Karen told her that she kind of had to earn her place with the women of Potomac. But Giselle just thinks that since Karen grew up on a farm in a small town, that this event is just going to be country as hell, and that she's just going. She says she's picturing hay coming out of people's mouths and the whole nine, but that's just Giselle being shady as usual. And Karen just lets us know that she kind of wants to be an open book because the girls are always saying they don't know much about Karen other than what she tells them. So she's kind of using this opportunity to kind of show a few of the girls how she grew up and who she is. So now they're getting ready to leave, and the girls show up to the house, and Ray is basically pushing Karen out of the door. He's like, bye, peace out, And Giselle notices that Ray does not kiss Karen. She goes in for the kiss, and he just kind of swerves her and is like, okay, bye. And she thought that was weird, and so did I. I almost thought in the beginning that they were kind of trying to drum up like this storyline of Karen and Ray having problems, but it does really seem like Ray just does not care the way that he probably once did, but hopefully they will work that out. Now we go to Candace, and Candace is getting ready to have company. She has invited Robin over, and she kind of lets us know that she's feeling really betrayed after the fight. Well, she lets Robin know that she's feeling betrayed after this fight. And she really invited Robin over to kind of get the tea on what happened at the meeting that she didn't want to be a part of with Monique. And, Robin basically tells her that Monique is not remorseful at all, which brings Candace to tears again. And I kind of relate to Candace a lot as far as being emotional. I am a crier. I will cry about any and everything, not necessarily making me weak. It's just that I'm very sensitive when it comes to my feelings and how my close friends feel about me or family. And if it's something that upsets me, I may shed a tear, but it shouldn't affect me the way that it does. And it probably shouldn't affect Candace the way that it does, but I haven't physically been attacked by any of my close friends either. So I cannot relate to her in that aspect. I'm just saying that she's a crier and so am I, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, she's crying, and Robin is kind of disappointed, and she tells Candace she's disappointed that Karen wasn't really holding Monique accountable for her actions. But production shows us that, yeah, she did kind of hold her responsible. She put she let her know that she was wrong for what happened. And Candace thought that was funny because Karen told her when they talked on the phone that if she were in that situation, that she probably would have considered pressing charges on Monique. And Candace also says that that option is still on the table because Robin wanted to know, well, will you press charges? And she just lets her know, yeah, it's on the table. I mean, the option is there. And so they kind of did that conversation, but Candace wants to know, and she didn't want to kind of, be a gossip about it, but she wanted to ask Robin about some articles that she had read about in the blogs about Robin being hit with like a $90,000 tax lien or something. She owes the IRS 90 grand. And Robin says, yes, it is true. She screwed up. She admits that she is a sucky accountant. And for some reason, she forgot to report some income that she had made. And I don't know if she got audited. I don't have rich people's problems. So me and TurboTax get along just fine. So I don't have to deal with that. But I guess she didn't report some income. Therefore, Uncle Sam got in that ass and she owes $90K. But I thought this was extremely ironic because I know that Robin was the same one who tried to get in Karen's ass about Ray's tax problems. Now, these were Ray's tax problems, but since the two of them were married, Karen did assume, them as her own because she and Ray are one, but she had the nerve to try to get onto her. And now it's like, okay, the tax karma is coming back around. And here Robin is faced with another financial issue. And I do kind of wonder how this will play with her and Juan, because they were talking about buying a home. And me just recently purchasing a home, I know that that shit will hold you up. So I do know that that's going to put a halt in that process. And will Juan be upset yet again because Robin has gone and messed up the money? I mean, we don't know. We'll find out. Now, we go back to Karen, Ashley, and Giselle, and they're pulling up to the farm where Karen's family has lived and owned for over 100 years. And the cool thing about this was they really got a chance to get some of her family history because Karen's family were slaves on that same farm that they were eventually able to purchase and own and make money off of themselves. And so that was really dope to see. And she introduces them to her lovely family. She's got her aunts there and some of her cousins, and they're going through pictures, and the family is just kind of telling Ashley and Giselle stories. And it's really good to see because you get a chance to see where Karen has come from. And like Giselle said, she likes this because Karen has put on this air as the grande dame, since day one. And now, she can drop that facade and she can actually show them who Karen Huger really is. And it's good to see her with her family. And you could tell that they're happy to see her and she's happy to see them. And they go outside to the tractor and I'm cutting up some wheat or some corn. I don't know. I grew up in Michigan. We didn't really have there's a lot of farmland in Michigan, but I grew up in the inner city and there was none of that where I was. So I don't know. And even though I live in the country now, I'm still in like the city country. So I don't see much of it where I am now either, but they're on this huge tractor trailer. And when they get off, Ashley gets a call and it's Monique. Monique is calling her and she was like kind of confused as if she wanted to answer or not, just because, they were out on an outing where they didn't invite her, where Karen did not want to invite her after everything that had gone down. But they put her on speakerphone and Giselle walks away because Giselle has already let it be known last week, being super extra, that she didn't want anything else to do with Monique. But she's on speakerphone and she's talking, and she just says that basically if it wasn't her, it would have definitely been someone else to snatch Candace up, because Candace had it coming with the way that she talks to people, basically. And they kind of talk to her a little bit, and she, hates that she couldn't be there for the event or whatever. But they end that conversation, and Ashley asked Karen, well, does Monique know how you feel as far as telling, Candace, that you would press charges if the shoe was on the other foot, if it were you being attacked? And she says that something like, well, I think she does, or something, but I'm going to make it clear to her, I'll let her know how I feel. I think that that's something that's probably going to cause a problem. It's going to cause a rift in Monique and Karen's relationship, because even though you feel like that, that's kind of a playing both sides of the fence kind of move to me. You tell Candace that to make Candace feel better, and then you're up hugging and supporting Monique during the meeting that she had with all the other girls. But I understand that you want to be in a neutral place and you want to be both of their friends, but I do think at the same time that you just don't need to give any kind of advice to anybody. If you are telling one person one thing and then you're telling another person the other thing, just stay neutral and just stay out of it when it comes to that. But that'll probably come up in later episodes, but we'll find out about it when it does. Now we then see Wendy, and Wendy meets with her sister Ivy, and she says that she looks up to Ivy. Ivy is a doctor as well. Ivy is a surgeon. She's a boss chick, just like Wendy. They're both very accomplished. Their mom urged and encouraged them to basically be doctors, and they both became doctors. One just became a doctor of medicine, and I don't even know what kind of doctor Wendy is, but I know Wendy is a doctor. So you got two doctors, and that is quite an accomplishment. But they sit down to eat, and Wendy is telling her sister, that she wants to leave teaching and she wants to do commentary full time, because that's her passion. That's what she really wants to do. But she's scared to tell her mom, because she knows that her mom's like, no, you need to be the doctor. I guess teaching is where her mom wants her to be. And the sister does agree that, yeah, the mom will probably be mad, but it's your life. Do what you want to do. I'm going to support you no matter what. We know that mom will be pissed, but it is what it is. You got to live your life for you and do what makes you happy. So then we go to Juan, and Juan is sitting at a bar ordering him some drinks, watching the game. And then this white lady comes up with this long black hair, or it's what was supposed to look like this white lady, but it was Robin, and Robin had this crazy long black wig on, and it was all like high at the top. Like, it was funny looking, and she kind of caught Juan off guard, you could tell. But then they started doing this really, really awkward role play. It was so awkward to me. I was like cringing the whole time. And I'm not used to Robin in that kind of element, because Robin to me is just like so kind of like this the whole time. And her trying to role play with Juan, and he's laughing, but he's trying to play along to kind of, they want to keep it spicy in their relationship because they're both fairly busy. It was just cringy, but she then kind of throws a wrench in the situation by bringing up the tax information or the tax issue. And you can just kind of tell that Juan is just like, okay, Okay, I'm kind of used to it by now, Robin. I mean, you done messed up my money in the past. Now you messing up your own money. It's nothing new. Yeah, this is sucky because we had plans on purchasing a home. Now we can't do that until you get your tax stuff together. But he did not seem shocked because, like we all know, this was what caused a rift in their marriage to begin with. But that's pretty much where that scene ended. So now it's homecoming day, and Karen is being honored at the parade, and she's being escorted in a Bentley. Now the other girls were coming along thinking that they were about to get in the Bentley with her, and no. Karen said, y'all can go wait in the tent. I'm the only one riding in the Bentley. So they were kind of salty about that. I got a good chuckle out of that because they were marching on along, and then Karen was like, no, 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 no. Y'all are going to go to the tent. And I'm sure she didn't tell them until that moment, but it was funny. And then Ashley and Giselle kind of talked about how neither Ashley nor Karen are the same women that their husbands married, when they first got married. Ashley talks about, now, I'm a mom and things are a little different now. And basically, she's just kind of saying she's holding more cards in this marriage than she did when she and Michael first got married. And Karen is, this grand dame, she has a perfume out, and she is more of a businesswoman, and she is not the support system that Ray had when they first got married. And so they both, Ashley is evolving and so is Karen, but Karen evolving so later in the game is what Ray is having a problem with dealing with. It seems like Michael has conformed a little more because he now knows, Ashley does have a lot of power now as far as leverage, because I've gotten her pregnant twice at this point, and I can't be out here wilding out. Or if I do wild out, she has put these ultimatums in place, and she can leave, and she can leave with heavy pockets. But with Karen and Ray, I don't really know how that will work out, because Karen doesn't really seem to have any intentions on leaving Ray. She wants to be with Ray. She wants to grow old with Ray. She wants to grow older with Ray because Ray's fairly old, but they're just not in the same places that they were when they first got married. Now, what was kind of crazy to me, it seemed like Giselle and Ashley acted like they had never been to a parade before. And when I say that, they were like shocked that the people were throwing candy out of the vehicles. Every parade that I've gone to, and I didn't really start going to parades until I moved south, but every parade that I have gone to, everybody throws candy out. I thought that was what it was supposed to be, but they acted like they didn't. And Giselle said that Karen basically made it out of this small town, and now her town, the people of the town are treating her like basically like she's the Beyonce of the town. I got a good chuckle out of that. But we go back to Candace, and we see Candace and her mom. They're at an animal shelter because Candace and Chris want to adopt a dog. I thought that was really cool, really dope, because we have adopted 3 dogs. And they are amazing little furry friends, but it's really cool that they're going to go and adopt instead of going out to buy and saving a life, so to speak. But I thought that was cool. But she lets her mom know that she's been going to therapy, and she's been talking to her therapist to talk out her feelings from what happened the night of the fight. And her mom is naturally outraged because she says her child was attacked by this woman, and Monique is basically just walking around without consequence. And therefore, she feels like they need to go ahead and lawyer up. They need to call their attorney. And Candace agrees. So I'm seeing that this is the point where they start pressing charges and contacting attorneys. So this is going to be that turning point. So back to Karen and crew. Karen takes them after the parade. She takes them to the church where she grew up. And she just says that that church is kind of a foundation of who she is. And she says that in the church, you know, she kind of feels her dad's presence. She kind of feels her parents' presence. And she excuses herself. She goes to the restroom and she kind of cries and weeps a little bit. And that was kind of tough to see because we do know that Karen lost both of her parents. And she lost them like back to back, like very quickly. I don't know if it was in months of one another, but she did lose both of her parents, and that had to be very, very tough. And she didn't really talk much about it, and they discussed it at a reunion, but it was kind of like okay, I'm not about to deal with you because I just lost both of my parents and I'm not about to go there with you kind of thing. But she didn't really go into detail about it. And the girls have respected that thus far. And Giselle and Ashley were concerned with, you know, hearing her cry, and they just decided to kind of hang back and let her come out, and they would talk to her on their own, or talk to her when she was ready to talk. And she just basically said, I'm good. You know, these are not tears of sorrow. I just really miss them. I miss them a lot. And this was just kind of something that I needed. You know, it was kind of that release, and I needed to be home. So this is very good for me. And so it was kind of like she got that release that she needed to have, that she probably hadn't had a chance to have. And she says that Ray has kind of been giving her space. I guess since she's been grieving, Ray, you know, just kind of backed back and didn't want to put anything extra on her. But now she says that he's giving her space, but now she's ready to get back on track with her husband. So then we go lastly to Monique and Chris. They've invited her pastor and first lady over to kind of talk about this incident that happened. She tells Chris beforehand, though, that the girls are like writing her off. So she kind of feels them backing away from her after this has happened. And when she gets the pastor there, he kind of tells her that she needs to be honest with what's going on in her own heart. And he kind of gets Monique to see her part in this, and not necessarily her part, but he wanted her to realize that, okay, this was not about Candace. This was not about Candace at all. This was about you feeling like you were in survival mode. And this is something that you've been dealing with since you were a child. And Candace just happened to be that outlet at that point. She caused the breaking point of you not being able to control your emotions or, you know, your hands, and you got into the fight with her. And he just kind of wanted her to see, why was Candace such a trigger? She comes to the conclusion that Candace didn't really deserve that, and that she needs to talk to Candace. And she's very emotional. Chris also says that he wants to reach out to the other Chris, Candace's husband, because they were friends, and they were good friends before all of this happened. And he knows that him just kind of sitting back, not saying anything, he probably feels like, okay, well, Chris may agree with what happened. And Chris has been saying the whole time that this whole thing is just absolutely crazy. And he does think that they need to reach out and talk to the Dillards, or is her last name Dillard? Is Chris' last name Dillard? I don't know, but they need to reach out to Candace and her Chris. And that was where the episode ended. If there was anything that I forgot, y'all please make sure you drop down in the comments below. If there are any thoughts that you may have about this episode, I would absolutely love to hear them. So please let me know in the comments and we can just get it popping. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, always comment, and subscribe. And I thank you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.